rubbing down some medium. I'm using M. Graham's walnut alkyd medium, just because I don't like mineral spirits. They make me feel a bit sick, so just giving a very fine coat over the whole of the first glaze. And then I'm going to rub it down with a muslin. Just a fine cloth. Just gently rub it. Just be really careful. First glaze is quite delicate, and it's just been there 2 days, so it is dry. It's definitely dry to the touch, but I don't want to just rub it. It would probably come off if I rubbed it quite hard. Okay, that should be fine. On hindsight, I painted, the first glaze is very dark, but that gives me a good opportunity to add some velaturas now and to go over the whole thing. So I'm going to mix up some nice skin tones and have fun with that. So a bit of white first. Hopefully my nose won't make an appearance in this video. Try and lean back a little bit. Got some white and raw sienna. This is vermilion. I always find with velaturas it's often surprising how much colour you need to mix it correctly on the palette. It always looks much more intense, but when I actually paint it onto the portrait, it's going to be very, very pale. I'm just going to start dabbing just some areas just to pick it out a little bit. Some of the highlights just on the cheek. It's actually a lot lighter in here. Her skin's just showing through underneath these areas. I'm going to have to put a bit more colour on that, so I'll have a go in a bit. I'm using a hogshair brush at the moment, but I might just go straight into something finer. I've got my trusty sable brush. This is cadmium red. It's a Michael Harding cadmium red, so it's really, really intense. And just alizarin crimson just for a bit of pink. Needs to be even more actually. Really fine strokes. This is how, with the velatura, I can just lighten an area if it was just too dark. I can just go over that, and it was too dark. Maybe I'll just use this now. All of this was just too much. It really was too dark before. It can look sometimes a bit chalky. Hopefully my nose isn't showing. If it's too chalky, then I can just glaze over it later on. Okay, so I'm just going to mix up this. Definitely some darker shades over here. The lighter shadow tones. That I always find a good one. Just a bit of vermilion, but with some sap green. It cools the red. Quite often you find that sort of colour in the sort of mid shadow. I'm not sure. I don't like using too much vermilion. It's a bit of a weird colour, or it's got too much personality, so it's just quite obvious. Cadmium red is a better bet. I'm just adding pure red there. Just blend that in a little bit. So I've just got too much medium going on around here. And I need a dry brush. I'm just going to take a bit, just a hogshead, just to lift that off just a bit. I'm going to mix up something for the hair now, so just, it's going to be too much yellow, but it's going to just be a very, very light yellow. I'll just get a bit of medium. Maybe just needs just the tiniest bit of green. Maybe just see what this looks like anyway. I'm just going to do it very softly. It's quite white when it comes on. Probably a good moment for some vermilion and some orange, maybe. Especially a bit of yellow around here. So I'm just going to pop that in. And she's very yellow under her chin as well. Okay, right, I'm going to try harder to mix this colour now. There's quite a lot of that. Raw sienna, a bit more of that Indian yellow. Put a bit of cadmium red in. It's still not going to be dark enough. But in other paintings, I found that, you know, I can do this for the hair and then go over it again just with a glaze to darken it, and that seems to work even better than just trying to find the right colour straight away. Halfway between the two now, because I've over exaggerated this area of hair. This is just a bit dark in the end, so I'm just going to go over this just a tiny bit until it gets there, and then it really is in the shadow. And this is much more, there's a lot more colour. It's quite warm though. It's too much. So I might just, we'll see. I'm going to maybe go over this again. So there are some sort of darker lines between these hairs where it falls and where it's catching the light. There's definitely some darker areas, but that's probably best served by a glaze when this is dried. It's all trial and error, so never works first time usually. Very reddy orange highlight just in there. It's not right. It's just positively pink. Must be down there. It's definitely not this dark grey, so This is all much redder than I've done it originally. Much lighter. I'm just going to go over with a really fine velatura. I might need to do that again later. We'll see. Similar to areas that I've used colours that I've mixed for the hair, so I'll just use those. I'm just going to mix them in with the palette, on the palette. And I don't think it's quite right, but I can always mix it. I can always glaze over it. I think in the future with grisaille, I might just got to have a really light touch, so you don't overdo it, because it can just look really ugly if it's too dark. But nothing's irredeemable, and it will need a glaze to soften it. Sometimes that can look great. It just, I don't know, I get a kick out of ears. Painting ears. It's a bit weird just trying to draw it when you've got this hair going over the top of it. It's close to it, but alright then, it isn't. I might have to just go over this in a further glaze.